Hey guys, good morning. How are you? It is Tuesday, and Tuesdays are transformational Tuesdays. But first, coffee. So it's transformational Tuesdays. There's a hashtag out there, and on these days, last week I did a blast out for my little sister. She lost so much weight. I'm so proud of her. I've linked her around here somewhere. And so for transformational Tuesdays, I like to just look at all my friends, what everyone's going through, or something that's been like a before and after that's been very traumatically done in my life as well, you know? So always transformational Tuesdays are the Tuesdays where I go from a really big contrast. So like moving to a different city is a really big contrast. Changing something in your life is a very big contrast. Getting married is a big contrast. Losing something is a big contrast. Or starting something new, something fun, something different, something that you've never put your toes into. Usually those transformational Tuesdays are always the best ways to remember and resurface all those things that's ever happened in your life, and do a contrast of a black and white. So like what's happened, you know? It's like changing your hair color from a blonde to like a black haired colored, you know? Same thing. So if you've ever had that, experience from going up from like a very, very contrasty kind of a place, you should share it on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are usually the hashtags I always love to occur. It's a lot of it, it's a lot of body image stuff. Everyone's talking about like, oh, I lost weight, or I just have a baby, or a postpartum, like depressions and things like that. A lot of people talk about those, like transformational, experiences. Excuse the noise. It's not a big deal. There's kids everywhere here 24 hours a day. So like those are the hashtags I look for, and those are the hashtags I adore, because I love to hear people's stories. Like how did their mind process during those certain situations, you know? And those are usually the typical Tuesdays that I look for. I mean, not typical Tuesdays. Those are like the stories that I look for is what I mean, you know? So I always like to praise those people. I always like to make sure I give them a high five of any kind, you know? Like my sister, for instance, it's not that easy to go from like a 210 to 160, if you know what I mean. That's very hard to do, you know? And when you go from like a 210 to 160, usually people talk about weight all the time. It's something to be praised because it's willpower. But what about that story that I'm looking for? It's usually like, weight loss is one thing, you know, but giving birth is another thing. How about depression is another thing, you know? How about something that, how about like, I'm always looking for something like, how about you traveling, like there's a lot of people doing like missionary works and stuff like that. That's a really great transformational story that you're doing for other children, for instance, you know? How about like a transformational Tuesday when it comes down to your environment, for instance, like the church that you're in, the congregation that you're in. What are you doing? Like how are you volunteering? How are you changing those people's lives? That's something that I love to hear as well. The great story about like a child that's been homeless and you went ahead and adopted him. Like how about that story when it comes down to like process of adoption, you know? Those I love. Those are cherished. Those I'm like, wow, how did you change that child's life? You changed that child's life by a massive degree. You have no idea, but that child's gonna grow up and just be so grateful and thankful for that, you know? So those are the stories I'm usually looking for. I'm always like, man, what else has anyone else in their life, that massively changed a child's life, or their environment, their family, or like just even your own life in some kind of a way, you know? So something that's very inspirational on a transformational Tuesday, it usually comes down to changing your environment, or maybe somehow you were up from your, you know what I mean? So it's something to think about today. It's Tuesday. Tuesdays, I'm usually always looking for like a really big contrast in someone's life, you know? And that's something that I absolutely love to follow, like, and share on my pages. So if you guys have anything that you guys want to share, let me know. Like a massive shift that happened in your life, you know what I mean? I have nothing to brag about, unfortunately. It's been a disastrous kind of an experience in my divorce, and I don't want to even talk about divorce. But I don't want to talk about divorce. Divorce is like one of those things, it's like a death in the family. It's like someone gets cancer, you know, like the cancer stories I adore and I love to listen, and like I blast those people. Like I have a little cousin that went through a cancer, is scared her family, and I know how hard that was. She went through like, she got hair loss and stuff like that. But so like those kind of stories, like I personally love and thrive for and I listen to, and I'm like, how is your life different 2 years from now? And she shares her story, which is really good. It's a really great transformational Tuesday story to have. Maybe I should blast her. Really good. What else? That's really good. For Tuesdays, someone that just got out of jail or how they got into jail. That's a really good transformational story. Like how did that change your life and what happened afterwards? Or a new career, a new job, a new something that's changed your life usually is a really great boost to have, you know, in their life. What else? A mom that's given birth to 8 babies, for instance, that's a really great transformational story that people like share and blast and talk about, you know, because that's not a very easy thing to do. I'm always looking for that crazy experience that it's just like massively damaging, you know, but then it turns into something so beautiful, you know. So losing someone in the family, going on a trip, changing someone's life, either it's a change of location usually does a lot, you know. I usually share my story a lot because it did a lot of good things in my life. You know why? Because not only did I change the location of my surrounding, which was so important. Change of location was number one. Number two, it's who you're married to. It's very important. Who's your partner in life? So important. Like you have to have the same mindset. If you guys don't have the same mindset, if he wants 5 kids and you want none at the moment, you want to build a career, it's a big deal breaker, you know? Or a change of career. Like you want to know how much you want to work, where you want to live, what kind of entrepreneur you want to be, you know? Look, so these things really matter, and this is kind of like creates that transformational phase in our lives, you know. So like it's very important to have those things in your life that change your surrounding. It's so important. Like I personally, I always am very selective with the friends that I hang out with. I'm very selective with the people I let into life in general, because I've seen it from both ends, and I was always like, okay, I would rather choose that environment I would be in. I'd rather choose the people I want to surround myself with, where like just everything, it's just like everything's an option, you know? Everything is an option. Everything in your life is an option. Everything in your life comes from your own decisions. So if you're not choosing, someone else is going to choose for you, you know? This is why you have to choose what you want to be, where you want to go, who you want to hang out with, where you want to live, who you want to marry, how many kids you want to have. Like everything is a choice. Nothing should be like an oops. Nothing should be decided for you, because it's your life. You're in so much control of your life. You know, it's so important. And this is why when I was like 17, there's some things that I made in life, but I was so strict on the fact that I didn't want to have kids before 25. I was like, nope, no kids before 25. No one's gonna force me. No one's gonna make me. Even though my dad was on speed dial every day, he's like, it's time. I was like, no, Dad, I'm 17. So like, I've always made sure I made my own decisions, and there's no other way around that. You know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, like, there's no way. So like, those certain things create the biggest transformations in our lives because you choose for your own self-being. Like, you choose where you want to work, you choose where you want to live, you choose everything. And then when you make that shift, that transformation happens. And I remember that by driving to California 25 hours straight. That was a big transformational phase because we didn't know anybody. We knew zero, we were like one person. And then after that, the career choices that were made, the projects that I put myself into, everything was a choice made out of my own self versus like, versus that staying like a corporate, for instance, for 15 years and you already forget how to make choices, you know? So like things like that usually create the biggest transformational like things in our lives, you know? So this is why I always make sure I make my own choices. So that's pretty much where my mind is every day. Everything I've done in life has always been a choice of my own making. Not the past, like, current last 2 years. That's something that's been, I don't even want to talk about anymore. But normally everything prior to that, everything I've ever done in life has always been my own choosing. Like, even like the places we've traveled to, people that we've ever communicated with, and anything that we've ever done in life, like the events that we've ever been to, anything that I could have put myself into has always been through my own choosing, you know? And that's why you get to the next level in life, because you're always building your life from the foundation that you created for yourself, you know? Very, very important versus being stuck somewhere because like your mama told you or something, or you went to college, for instance, and someone chose a career for you. It's like, you know, like things like that. Because, but like, I know these massive great stories, such as like a doctor that's been a doctor forever, and then he went into an audition and he got the most coolest role ever. Now he's the happiest doctor alive. There's like doctor, like the Hangover doctor, you know, very funny. So like those things inspire me. Those things kind of, you know, those things really inspire me. Those are the things that I absolutely love. So it is what it is. What else? Today's a really good day to talk about like before and afters, you know? Before and afters are usually the one of the things that I am always like, please tell me yours. This is why I love reading biographies. This is why I love. I love when people leave their hometowns. Let's start from there. Like if you leave your hometown, like this is why I love American families. They send their children off to college way over there. It's because when they send their child to college somewhere else, the child automatically gets out of their comfort zone. And so like when they're 18, they go somewhere else for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They automatically like they learn how to live on their own. So those are the things that I absolutely love, and that's something I normally strive for. I'm like always like just get out of your hometown. Like people don't know what that means. It's a really big deal, especially when you're really, really young. So like it's very, 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 very important, you know? So I did that when I was like 20, and then I never understood why a lot of families, they do that. I never got it. I was like, why is that? But it's so important because when they're out of their hometown, all their childhood friends start getting new friends. Just become, I don't know, grow up so much faster. So I always encourage that because I personally felt that on my own end. And when I got out of my hometown, my mind just shifted from a whole different level, from the generation before me kind of a thinking to a whole different level, more of like a modern kind of lifestyle way, you know? So